Right?
Next year for Lewis and Clark.
Hey, Whitman holds it down.
We had a really strong recruiting class.
Our girls
so strong.
We have
jump all the way up into
Ben knows we have multiple 6-footers on the team next year.
Our regional intramural team is going to jump to the leagues.
Even after you lost John Henry?
Yeah.
John Henry hurts more than he helps. He's in a lot of fights.
Cool.
He's got the best shorts though.
I think we're all here and sufficiently warmed up and cordial, so let's do it.
I got to,
Oh wait, I have one thing. For everyone filming, you all can film, but one thing is you have to put it online, you have to make it public, and you have to send me a link. And my email is donems@whitman.edu. Only condition. Other than that, feel free to film.
U-D-U-N.
Is that cool with you all? What? UNNMS.
And let that be the worst joke I tell.
Mr. Dunn. What was that again?
Yeah.
UNNMS, Mitchell Scott, at whitman.edu. Yeah,
That's good. We don't have any film of us debating from behind, so this will give us.
Back here,
It's like, Joe, your back is tense. That conveys way too much weakness. All right, are we now all ready?
This debate's gonna be so fun.
I am excited, and we're ready to go, I think. So. Observation 1 is the resolution analysis. The 8 point is the resolution. The United States federal government should substantially decrease its tactical nuclear weapons arsenal. The observation 2 is inherency. The first argument is Obama is trying to decrease the nuclear weapons status quo. A new policy directive endorses the use of a smaller nuclear arsenal to deter external threats. The second argument is that tactical nukes are not included in this, and therefore not regulated in the most recent, that is 2010 START treaty. The third argument is the United States has a tactical arsenal of about 500 B-61 or about 500 B-61 missiles of some kind that I think are attached to bombs or planes, whatever. The next argument is that they have about 200 deployed at air bases in Belgium, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, and Turkey. Fourth argument here is the United States currently one sec. United States is, currently is not decreasing its, or is decreasing its. Sorry, United States has decreased a. Sorry, Emily, just you wrote the file. You know what the fourth argument is? United States. Surely it was not important. The fifth argument is that their current stockpile has actually decreased by 85% of its maximum value, which was reached in 1967. Thus, observation 3 of the plan text. The United States federal government should remove and dismantle the tactical nuclear weapons stations / positioned in Europe and Turkey. The United States federal government should remove and dismantle the tactical nuclear weapons station positioned in Turkey.
Joe, that's all 5, right? All 5 countries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. You go that way, I go this way. It's for y'all.
Thank you.
Clearly, I don't think I'm in a big hurry to read these advantages. I'm moving a little lackadaisically. Famous wants Russia, guys. The ace point is the first argument is the United States withdrawal of tactical weapons from Europe is Russia's number one demand. Russia's number one foreign demand of us. The status quo. The second argument is Russia's actually building up its tactical nuclear weapons as a result of our failure to fulfill this demand. Russia says that its weapons are Russia says that our tactical nuclear weapons are the reason that they can't do this. The little B under this number 2 is that NATO officials actually say that they believe that if the United States was to remove Russian weapons, we would remove our tactical nuclear weapons from the area. Russia would respond in kind and decrease their tactical nuclear weapons arsenal. Third, because tactical nuclear weapons are to keep the Russian strategy in status quo. Russia has between 3,700 and 5,400 of these weapons, which indicate that it's the only place they have a preponderance of force against the United States, which makes it key to their deterrent strategy. The fourth argument is that Russia's policy is actually made more dangerous by this refusal because they continue a tactical nuclear buildup in secret that we're not able to monitor. The fifth argument is that Russia will use these nuclear weapons to take over block nations and status quo. This is pretty true when the United States is seen as encircling. They may need to reassert their hegemony, particularly in a world where Putin feels that he's threatened domestically. The sixth argument is this kills relations because it is a non-starter for any relations. Russia's always going to say we need to decrease our tactical nuclear weapons. They will never feel that we are coming to the table in good faith and not trying to bomb the hell out of them in a world where we retain these weapons. Peace point is linked arguments. First argument is this would always all back to Russian relations because it would make a direct concession to the regime scheme and would alleviate their number one concern. The secondary reason would always lead to a equivalent of Russian disarm for a couple of reasons. The first argument is that this would remove their justification for not having tactical nuclear weapons anymore. The piece of point is they would always want to respond in kind to be able to get future relations for future negotiations. And the C argument basically takes out the point of having it. Listen, a bunch of nuclear weapons just sitting there doesn't do a whole lot of good against the United States. No reason for them to continue them. The third argument is the plan actually provokes Russian invasion because they don't need to reassert their sovereignty in the region because their interests are fundamentally seen as secure because the United States is not seen as challenging. The CSIS is internally stable. First argument, technical nuclear weapons are particularly bad because they actually have the principle to be used in individual conflict. The strategic nuclear weapons are only going to be used as deterrents in order to make tactical nuclear weapons essentially have battle utility, which indicates they can be used, which would always lead to an escalation because it blurs the line between nuclear and conventional weapons. There is no protocol for what type of escalation would occur in the world of tactical nuclear weapons use, and it is very likely in a world where Russia will go into Central Asia right now. The second argument is that Russia will always go into Central Asia unless we actually resolve this conflict. We pretty much done that warranting above. We would prevent the third argument is Russia would also go into Arctic against the United States. Probably the other area in which they have preponderance of force against the United States because they have several dozen a few dozen icebreakers to our one functioning icebreaker. That indicates that's where they reassert their sovereignty. It's also key to their national energy strategy. An icebreaker is thanks Ben. It's a really awesome ship that they can use to just crush through all the ice in the Arctic and reassert things and get a bunch of oil and yeah. It's big and powered by nuclear weapons. The decent point is the impacts. The first argument is the situation war would be absolutely devastating. Withdraw the United States because of its NATO commitments and go to a nuclear war. The second argument is that Russia will go into the Arctic would also be devastating because it would lead to a war between Russia and Canada because of their because of the territory that they dispute in the Arctic. No, they're the only two people who are doing that. They have hell icebreakers and troops there. I'm not making shit up. Don't laugh at me. The other argument is this withdrawing the United States. And the third argument is this solves back for Russian relations, which is another way that we resolve the root cause of these impacts. And I wrote a paper about it. It's true. Loose nukes is advantage too. The ace point is first argument is United States nuclear weapons in Europe are not secure. Have actually no are not secured in status quo. The ace point is in the last is over the last year a peace group based in Belgium has infiltrated our security 3 times. They've infiltrated one of our bases that houses nuclear weapons 3 times. They've actually indicated they've gotten very close to this. The second argument is they're a peace group in Belgium. How good could they be? Probably indicates that anybody's going to be able to get there. They're not too hardcore. The C argument here is there's always a risk of non-state actor attacks from nuclear weapons in the status quo in a world where again peace group in Belgium's able to get in there. Probably anyone will be able to. The point is that this is a structural problem that you're never able to resolve because these are not specifically the property of the United States or of the European countries that regulate them. The regulatory authority goes to the European states and status quo. But they don't actually have an authority to do this because they're not their nuclear weapons and they don't have the technology or the propensity to guard nuclear weapons before. Again, we're talking about Italy, man. I don't trust them to do anything. They can't mass produce a decent car, let alone guard nuclear weapons. These countries can't secure it. The peace point is link arguments. We remove the nuclear weapons. I think this would make them a lot harder to steal. You'd have to come to America and also infiltrate the better security. The better security that we have here. The peace point is the internal links in a world of theft would always be devastating. A world of theft would always be devastating to lead to a non-state actor attack because non-state actors are not bound by the same types of deterrence and rationality as everybody else. First of all, their goals are different, and also retaliation against them is going to be far more difficult. So there's no guarantee of a wipeout strike until this leads to a non-state actor attack against the United States or in mainland Europe. In either case, the United States would be able to trace back the signatures. This is the impact level. The United States would be able to trace back these signatures and would respond with overwhelming force. Leads to a United States nuclear retaliatory strike, which would be absolutely devastating. Lead to war across the world, but would also lead to United States getting involved in conventional wars and quagmires. You look at Iraq and Afghanistan for how big of a bummer that is.
They retaliate against themselves.
What? I'm sure it made lots of sense. I didn't hear what the question was.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
Oh, I'm right on.
Okay. 1, 2, 3 off. No.
Gotcha.
And none of them are T either. 3 off. Case in order, actually. I don't have anything written down on the solvency page, so I'm going to assume I have no arguments to say there.
I was going to ask you, I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
storage, but the massive negotiations coming after waste storage policy, but there's tension by bipartisan supports with that status quo. The first argument, Senator Wyden, who's the chair of Senate Energy and National Resource Committee. He's from Oregon also. Holla. He proposed bipartisan nuclear waste management legislation status quo. He's working with Diane Reinstein, who's a Democrat from somewhere that I didn't write down, and Lamar Alexander, who's a GOP, and Lyndon Markowski, who's a GOP from Alaska. The future of the bill is shifting waste storage from pools to stable dry cask storage in bunkers. They are looking to do modernizations and sort of movements. The next argument is the number 2 that the bill seeks to make waste management at concurrent site locations. The GOP, however, wants the amount to be the site of future waste technology. Wyden is coming to the table on this because he says he hears them loud and clear, but he doesn't think that his capacity to need it. And also, Harry Reid is not going to let Yucca Mountain happen for a couple reasons. First, Senate Majority Leader, which apparently means he has power, and also he's from Nevada. He doesn't want nuclear waste going to his state. Third argument, this GOP is ramping up their fight on this issue. Someone named John Samukis, who's GOP from Illinois, says that there will be no bill without Yucca, but unfortunately he is swayable because it says his top priority is dealing with the supposed leaks that he thinks are occurring. Status quo piece point is links to Yucca's Yucca be included in the bill for a couple reasons. First, the arsenal is tied to nuclear waste. We'd say that new START negotiations were tied with concerns over nuclear terror and increased safety of nuclear waste facilities. The next argument is plan creates nuclear waste to decommission, which would send all these nuclear weapons to Puntex, I think, is what it's called. Sounds almost dirty. Which is the United States factor for decommissioning, which means it would be necessary for a new site in order to contain all of the new waste. There are GOP backlash. We said this unprecedented shift. The Samukis, or whatever that guy's name is, it calls his bluff on Yucca, which means he has to play hardball on this. He proposes Yucca as a place to store heat, power, and capital of a nuclear debate. The fifth argument is Saps Reed's capital because he said he had faith in Obama's foreign policy, but unfortunately this looks weak. Go to the impact level. First argument is Yucca. We said Yucca is a principle for national disasters for a couple reasons. The first is Yucca is a hotspot for massive earthquakes. There are 30 different earthquake fault lines within Yucca, which apparently the GOP doesn't care about. Apparently, first of all, this could lead to massive earthquakes that could destroy nuclear waste facilities, cause massive environmental degradation. This region, we say you should look to precautionary principle because we don't know sort of environmental degradation is going to destroy the entirety of the biosystem, but also apparently could cause nuclear volcanoes, which sounds really awesome, but could also be really devastating for the entirety of the West Coast, which we all live in. It would be really bad. Next term is waste. His waste has to be transported to move to Yucca. They said this could be 105,000 truckloads of nuclear waste going to these areas. The Department of Transportation says that 210 accidents are likely in this transportation, but the GOP still won't budge. We said first of all those accidents would be bad for the environment, but also there's a propensity for terrorists to first of all just do something like run into the truck that has nuclear waste, or do things like steal the nuclear waste, have a dirty bomb, which would give us intervention to their advantage to impacts about United States retaliation. I like pro-life. Allies have faith in the nuclear umbrella in status quo in 2009. Obama gave a speech in Prague that said the United States would not yield nuclear deterrence over non-nuclear actors if they combine with the NPTE. That's because they have strong allies in NATO cohesion. The next argument is the United States has a posture policy from distributing technological advances to TNWs across country. There also is a guy named Bruce Klinger who was a former Korea deputy chief who literally said that they would trade New York or LA for Seoul, which made everybody think that the United States was really committed to its allies. The next argument is the support is tied to the to nuclear posture against status quo. Our stockpile is down 86%. You can find that question of uniqueness, but this is intentional. It looks like modernization. We are modernizing and leading down to the amount necessary to maintain hegemony and deterrence. The next argument is linked versus deterrence theory. We'd say this is twofold versus capability. We'd say that only through deploying we have the proximate enough to be able to actually deter actions by saying that we could hit them in a very short time frame. They wouldn't have to second strike capabilities. The next argument is communication. Your plan undermines the ability for aggressive actors to actually see the role of United States nuclear Western. When you say that, posturing is important. The third argument is plan is unprecedented. First of all, they don't consult any of the NATO actors, and also all the previous times where we sometimes our TNWs came with modernization. For example, we don't do any modernization in the world plan internally, so proliferation is possible for a couple reasons. First, that 25 different actors said that they want have said sometimes in the last 25 years that they want some sort of nuclear development. They also have the technology and they have civilian nuclear arsenal. Proliferation will be unstable. They obviously have some vertically because they want to get second strike capable as fast as possible. And all these people are inexperienced in nuclear weapon development. It means it's much more likely for war in this era than it is for someone like Russia and the United States. But I'll hopefully get into that more later if I have time. Impacts. First argument is proliferation. We said they're scared of things like Syria, Iran on the border. They have a high likelihood of proliferating Turkey. The Turkish Prime Minister also said if the TNWs would remove Turkey would need to develop quote-unquote critical new defenses. We said at least that could lead to a rush-free because it looks like the United States allies are amassing nuclear weapons all around that Russia would attack.
Hey, Lauren.
What?
Russia has an incentive to first strike newly proliferating arsenals because they would try to strike them before they proliferated.
Russia also propensity to strike proliferating arsenals because they want to strike before they can have capacity to proliferate means we probably get runs too fast. Time frame next argument is highly proliferate would highly East Asian region, East Asian region, places like Japan, Taiwan, South Korea that now rely on our. Okay, that's probably getting somewhere on the counterplan. Counterplan: the United States federal government should deploy its tactical nuclear weapons currently deployed in Europe and Turkey to South Korea. The United States federal government should deploy its tactical nuclear weapons currently deployed in Europe and Turkey to South Korea.
Status and text.
It's
Text
condo.
is-
I can give you the text after this.
Sure, gotcha.
First room is concerned through normal means. The affirmative, obviously, defense decommissioning, dismantling, and storing the waste next solvency. We saw the entirety of the apps because we move all TMWs away from Russia, which seems to be the impact to advance. We also saw for things like that, because they haven't highlighted any groups that within South Korea that have the propensity to steal any tactical nuclear weapons. We also have more U.S. troops in the region, which means they have the capacity to basically monitor and watch and securitize these nuclear weapons to make sure that any non-state actually would have capacity to solve. The next is the net benefit, which apparently I have time for. South Korea adopts the United States commitment to their license. South Korea Obama cancels deployments of aircraft carriers to the region and even after the North Korea talks, the next to the lengths of the plan seen is seen as the United States reaction to the North Korean nuclear weapon counterplan. Gives some sort of gives credibility to South Korea worries. It looks like the United States has their back. They're valid proliferate. This was the argument I was about to make before. This is without South Korea, Japan, Taiwan would necessarily rapidly proliferate because they're fearful things like North Korea said that lead to massive miscalculations, and the reason why proliferation is unstable and also lead to accident loss. This is all happening at a very fast time from a very small area. Russia. Obviously, the counterplan launches themselves moves TNWs out of the air, but also there are massive causes to Russia being freaked out in South Korea, like new missile defense system, or the fact we just did some critical nuclear testing, which is one of the other topic areas. And also, next argument is no link. Russia would never disarm because their conventional army sucks. They know they would get ravaged to that, and that's a war. It's a war. They would never engage these sort of things. The argument is the only way for nuclear war to happen is through a massive paradigm shift, like rapid proliferation, going down to the impact level. First of all, is that Russia is winning the Arctic contents. No question. No question. They have all icebreakers in South Korea. And I think Canada only has 2 icebreakers. They could probably beat them anyways. And also, Canada's peaceful as shit. They don't want to go to war at all.
Just like.
And they also have lots of oil, which is the reason to go to the Arctic. So Canada has no incentive to go to war. Go to loose nukes. First argument is the United States. There's many alternative mechanisms to get loose nuclear weapons, places like Russia or Syria, CPWs, or the rest of the world proliferating the status quo. And North Korea just wants to sell nuclear weapons to anyone that can get their hands on it. Problem means the loose nukes are inevitable. And now, best to be a dirty bomb in Canada to launch a nuclear weapon, which means we are getting access, and we are getting inroads into this through the waste storage disadvantage. Said some things.
Okay. The order is going to be the inherency page.
Oh no!
No, you're screwed. Okay.
Or do you get going on the board?
Waste storage. Oh, crap. Okay. Inherency, waste storage, allied prolif, the counterplan, advantage 1, advantage 2.
Take it even though.
Yep. The inherency page, waste storage, allied prolif, the counterplan, advantage 1, advantage 2. You good with that?
On the inherency page, probably should have responded to a couple of our arguments. The first argument is that Obama's going to do this in the status quo. That means there's an inevitable reduction of our nuclear weapons in the status quo, just not the ones coming from Europe. That's probably a reason that both of your dissents are terminally non-unique and never have the ability to happen. You also show an inherency that the weapons deployed in the European countries right now aren't of any use. They're just leftover remnants from the Cold War. on the waste storage. The first argument is that there's absolutely no bipartisanship or no bipartisanship in this tax code. They haven't been able to agree on anything. There's a bunch of infighting between Republicans and Democrats on both immigration and happening as a result of what's going to happen with the economy. That's probably a reason that nothing's going to pass in this tax code. We also tell you that the trade-off doesn't happen in terms of waste storage because waste storage isn't at the top of the docket right now. The things at the top of the docket are one that any trade-off would happen in the economy would probably have on continuing resolution because the continuing resolution comes up for debate on March 27th, but it would also happen on things like immigration because that's what the Republicans care the most about. The next argument is non-unique. We're actually decreasing the amount of nuclear weapons in the status quo. Obama wants to decrease them to 1,000, which is always going to cause the same problems with that waste storage. We also tell you that because it's a part of Obama's strategy, normal means would be having ways to dispose of these that wouldn't be up for debate since this is something Obama's planning for, and Obama's also anti-Yucca Mountain means that Yucca Mountain is never the place where they get rid of these. Never the place where they get rid of these. And that's what they say the GOP is ramping up in fighting in the status quo. But the Republicans are infighting now, meaning the GOP doesn't have unity now, never has the ability to do this. We tell you that Carl Rowan and Rand Paul can't decide what direction the Republican Party has going forward. That means they never have the ability to unite and do anything. This massive infighting means that they're never on board to do anything because they're absolutely too fractured in this status quo. That never happens. They also never agree over Yucca Mountain. We also tell you on the link debate. They say that the plane creates the nuclear weapons of decommission. There's absolutely no reason that they would ever go to Yucca Mountain. We tell you there's way too much stigma around Yucca Mountain for them to ever do this. We also tell you there are safe spots that exist in the status quo that are part of Yucca Mountain. Also, that technology exists right now for them to be able to decommission this. The next argument is that this doesn't actually piss off Republicans because it's something that Obama's talked about doing in the status quo. That's something they perceive. They also the next argument is termed the GOP actually likes this because they think Obama's going to decrease the nuclear weapons. They see this is the best policy because it doesn't hurt the United States deterrent strategy because the nuclear weapons currently that we're taking out of Europe aren't actually part of our plan at all. They're just leftover remnants from the Cold War. We also tell you that the GOP likes this because it saves the United States economy a bunch of money. Also, the GOP would absolutely never put it in Yucca. They need the votes for people living around these Yucca states to be able to vote for it. We also tell you that Yucca is so tainted it would absolutely never go there. They say the terrorists are going to steal this nuclear waste. None of this is any different than the status quo. If the waste that already goes to Yucca would trigger this.
Also, their uniqueness indicates that we're building new safe places. That indicates normal means.
Also, their uniqueness indicates that we're developing new safe places. That means normal means we go to those safe places. What's up?
You make the argument that there's other safe places we could put them. Where?
You're developing those in the status quo. That's the argument.
Also, like lots of concrete and shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like pro-live. The first argument is not unique that we're scaling down nuclear weapons in the status quo. That's the argument about Obama saying that we only need 1,000 nuclear weapons. The next argument is not unique that the weapons currently deployed in Europe aren't key to securing any of our allies. They're just steel weapons from the Cold War. The next argument is that NATO actually said that they don't care if these nuclear weapons are there because they're not doing anything. They're not doing anything in the status quo except for making Russia mad. The next argument is that South Korea doesn't care about removing these nuclear weapons from Europe. It doesn't actually free any of our allies out. The next argument is that North Korea ramping up their nuclear Russia would have totally triggered any of our allies to be able to freak out if their story wasn't all true. The next argument is that sequestration would always lead our allies to freak out because it looks like the United States doesn't have dominance anymore in the status quo. The next argument is a link turn. Looks like the United States has the ability to focus more on what's actually useful. It looks like they're focusing on a good strategy. Look to the fact that the more nuclear weapons we have there don't do anything for our nuclear strategy. So it looks like we're actually being responsible. The next argument is a link turn. It looks like we can spend more money on building up forces that can actually help them. The next argument is a no internal link that they're still under our security umbrella. Unique reason that they don't freak out. They say that the plane is unprecedented. We're not consulting them. We tell you the normal means is that we would always reassure these countries. Also, NATO wants us to take their nukes out of the region. They've actually said this because it would decrease the dependency for Russia. Russia looks at the fact that we are key to checking Russia, which always pacifies our allies. Look to all the impacts. It's a unique reason the allies would totally freak out. The next argument's turn. We're actually key to checking non-state actors, which also always reassures our allies. They make these arguments about Turkey, but the only reason they're there now is from Cold War remnants. Turkey doesn't actually care about them. Also, Turkey actually doesn't like them being there because they're afraid that the people from Syria, the rebels from Syria, will actually come steal them. Unique reason Turkey doesn't actually care about them. They say that this is going to lead to a Russian freak out, but we tell you that all of these countries will still be backed by the United States. Also, what was the argument you told me to make about Russia? I wrote it down. I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
the key internal link to that.
Yep.
Also, all of Obama's officials said that we have a great amount of nuclear superiority and nuclear warheads right now, as to not freak out any of our allies. With the nuclear stockpile, we still have an ability to secure any of our allies.
Strategics would still deter
And
Russia.
strategics would still deter Russia, which 100% solves. Also, North Korea is only emboldened in a world where we have these nuclear weapons. Counterplan. The first argument I want to make is that this is actually really bad for China relations. We took the when these weapons are deployed to South Korea. This actually freaks out China because it looks like we're taking South Korea's side in the North Korea-South Korea relation. We took that China's actually come to the table to support proponents against North Korean aggression in the status quo. But this totally reverses the stance because it looks like the United States is trying to check back against China, which only increases the propensity that China increases their aggression. Probably goes into the Senkaku Islands, which is always gonna lead to a regional war. This is also an unprecedented United States policy. South Korea has asked the United States to do this, but the United States said no, specifically because they don't want to piss off relationship with China. That means there's only a chance you do this. Also, you don't have the ability to solve advantage to it all because these nuclear weapons are still in South Korea. All of our links are an advantage to that these countries don't have the ability to oversight and do this because they don't have the oversight because they're not their specific nuclear weapons means that you don't solve advantage to it all. You probably solve advantage to a lot worse because you put these in North Korea. Also, we tell you that you increase the propensity for North Korea to ramp up their aggression. The Brookings Institute a couple days ago said that the only reason North Korea is ramping up their nuclear aggression is because they're justified by United States nukes means you only piss.
Their South Korea arguments on allied pro-lift take out the uniqueness to the counterplan.
Your South arguments on allied pro-lift always take out any of the net benefit arguments. We tell you that Japan and Taiwan would absolutely never pro-lift as long as they feel like they're under the United States security umbrella on advantage one. You say that the counterplane has the ability to solve this because of things like the counterplane has the ability to solve this. I already explained how you can. You say that there are things like subcritical nuclear tests in the status quo. They're conceding our arguments about how the reason Russia has it and this is their number one demand, meaning that Russia always disarmed. Russia actually said they would disarm if the United States took these out. They say that nuclear wars only if there's some kind of paradigm shift, but look to the fact that Russia there's no regulation on tactical nuclear weapons. They say that Russia's winning in the Arctic now. This is responsive to our other scenario where we tell you that Russia will take on the bloc nations. Also Russia wants the resources and so does Canada. Always a reason these things go nuclear. We also tell you that Russia will use these to go into Central Asia. You're not responsive to this scenario at all. On those nukes, you see that there are many alternative places that these can be stored in the rest of the world. Our internal link scenario is really specific to the fact that no countries feel like they have the oversight of these nuclear weapons. The unique reason that these are specifically unstable. They say that North Korea has the ability to sell these nuclear weapons. They don't look unstable. Also, they fear United States retaliation. Also, they say that this is totally inevitable. It's only inevitable in a world where the United States has no ability to check back against this when we remove these and these weapons no longer exist. That's the only way they can be stolen by people.
All right. It will be the counterplan on top, the allied pro-lift disad, the waste storage disad with an overview on top of it, followed by advantage 1, advantage 2. I guess, yeah, their inherency page. Where did I put it? Put the inherency after the storage disad. Right?
Yeah, it's counterplan, allies, waste storage, inherency is in order.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Where allies go?
Good. Counterplan not going very technical relation between logical sensible is always logical policy options. Don't have to advocate against conditional also because he doesn't solve any the proliferation not going for consent. All of you know the government said Obama's already promised you together promise you 100,000 means. It means I was probably already figured out none of your links are also the sequestration also takes all this also you say that also no reciprocating offices the United States. You say the United States security guarantees always be able to sufficiently be able to check back, which means it's not a question of what even if you win your link, it's not offense because the security guarantees as you say are always sufficient to be not a matter of proliferation. During Sasko, you don't have any response to that. Go to the storage set now. Overview. They have made a fundamental concession. There's 3 things that we need to win this set. First is all of our uniqueness arguments subsume their tricky inherency arguments. Our arg is that this bill is coming and is necessary to fund new programs and new technologies to be able to take this out. which means that solves back for all of their linked or all of their arguments. The second argument, they've conceded that this bill is inevitable, which means all of their non-uniques don't matter. It's only a question of whether or not yucca is included. They have no answer to this. And the third argument is they've conceded that this turns case, because it's highly more likely that a nuclear accident occurs or something gets stolen, because they've conceded that a report said that they've conceded a report said that in the transfer of the weapons there would be 210 of them that accidents would occur on these trucks. Go to Liveline. First of all, you can send unique services negotiating status quo or bipartisan. Braun, Whitman, pretty fucking awesome guy from Oregon said, he has sufficient political capital, he's got bipartisan support with other people like Ryan Alexander, and another Republican. The B argument is also sufficient to fund the decommissioning projects and create a new safe place to be able to push them. You go to Liveline, and then you say that there's no bipartisan support in the status quo because immigration and the economy are coming first. Also, first of all, you can see that there's bipartisan support on the bill itself. You have not made an argument or reason why fights spill over to other arguments. You only said that other bills have fights on them, not our arguments that they're bipartisan support, not generally in school, but rather on the bill on the ability to exclude yucca from the bill in the status quo. Next argument says it's not top of the docket. Our argument is the bill is inevitably going to pass. You've conceded that it doesn't matter if it's top of the docket. It's a question of when it passes, whether or not it has yucca or doesn't have yucca in it. Next argument says not unique now because you're going to decrease because Obama's going to decrease to 100,000 weapons. Our argument is the fact that the bill is necessary to include the new decommissioning process, which means that all of our uniques, first of all, issue specific uniques. Obviously, assumes Obama's 2009 broad speech says it's going to decrease to 100,000, but also the other reason it doesn't matter is because the fact that it would include these new funding programs for clean recycling programs means that all of those decrease to 1,000 would be solved in a safe manner. You have conceded that partisan number. Next argument says normal means would be disposable. Disposability would not be in the debate. Our argument is not. Our argument is that you obviously changed the question of the debate. That begs the question of the entire of our link scenario. If we win the link debate, that you lead to the changing of the bill that doesn't include yucca or the new decommissioning project means that your normal mean argument means that you don't get to put your TNWs there in the first place. You have to put them in yucca, which you conceded would never be reopened. The fifth argument says that Republican infighting is happening in the status quo because Roe says the Republicans don't because the Republican Party is split because of the Roe and Paul split. Our argument is precisely this split is what has allowed Democrats to have enough people on board. You have conceded a link argument that all of the TNW reframes the entirety of the debate in terms of the Cold War or Obama looks weak on foreign policy. It allows for a coalescing point for Republicans to get on board and ban against Obama. That split is the fact that you have just read uniqueness arguments for our link, not a reason when not unique because it takes out the entirety of the aesthetic sin. The link debate. Now, first of all, as I said, it gets sideways because you considered empirically when we did star cuts that brought up the weight of the waste debate, which means that in itself should be a framing issue for how you evaluate the linkers. The second argument is also that the blank gets linked waste because you include dismantling decommission means that look, there's two parts to withdrawing debate. The first half is should we have them deployed, but we already have that. The second half is what do we do with them when we bring them home, right? Obviously, this debate gets brought up. The third argument you can see is that GOP doesn't like it because Samukas is specifically against it. You can see that he's going to really hardball if Obama looks weak and pulls him out. The fourth argument is also that Senator Harry Reid is going to dislike it because he is afraid of loose nuclear weapons in the link debate. First of all, do you say that it's not going to yucca because of the stigma of yucca argument is that this is something of the status quo, not a world in which the entire debate gets reframed to coalesce around that. Next, you say is that they're going to store him elsewhere. Already said that you can't store him elsewhere because it changes the bill. You said that we have the technology now. No, the bill funds the new technology to resolve it for safe disposal practices. The fourth argument you make is the fourth argument saying it doesn't piss off Republicans because Obama because it makes Obama go look good. You have made a reason why that's true. The next argument is that Obama or that the GOP likes it because it doesn't. Or the GOP likes it because what was the first reason they said?
Why the GOP likes it?
Yeah.
Because they think it's the best policy.
Oh, you say the GOP likes it because they look like best policy because they're bad. Wrong. Obviously, all the people in the GOP are really old candidates that like literally were alive during the Cold War. I wasn't, but they obviously. So it's like for example, like McCain or like when Romney said that the GOP or that Russia was our #1 like foreign policy enemy, right?
And they've been against Obama's like leanness of the military.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also makes Obama look weak on foreign military progress means that obviously he's part of the debate. The next argument makes it the GOP likes it because it's seen as spending money. Obviously spending. Obviously, that's not a unique link term because the question is not whether or not it saves money, and saving money is not a reason why they would not reinvigorate those debates. You've conceded like senators who specifically don't like it and want yucca to come back, and that would have said Obama would look really weak and means that they would have to reopen yucca. Impacts. Reopening Yucca is extremely bad. You can see a couple things. First, you can see the entirety of the threshold of the impact debate, which means just try or die for the negative. You can see that, first of all, the earthquakes inevitably going to kill the environment, which and also creates nuclear volcanoes, would take out the entirety of the West Coast because radiation would spread because of trade winds. The second argument is you also can see the nuclear accidents because they have to there will be over 105,000 truck holds. You can see that 210 of them would accidents would occur, and that caused massive meltdowns across the entirety of the West Coast. Also, you've conceded the turns case argument at the bottom, and with no impact defense, which means you have no AF, which was that terrorists will just come into the United States and blow them up when they're in transport, which means it turns that. What's up?
Did your answer about Yucca doesn't look as good? Like everybody hates Yucca?
Yeah, you say everybody hates Yucca. All of our artists know there are people that do like Yucca. That's all of the unique stuff. Go to the case today. Inherency. I've already answered the Obama cuts inevitable. It's only a question of where they go. Our argument is that you reinvite the Yucca debate and get it. Be reopened. You can say this. Go to the Lucid agreement. Go to Advantage One. First of all, it's one extent of question. Now, you conceded an argument. She conceded that NMD means Russia freakout is inevitable. The MG doesn't answer this. This is the first all cause that Miranda makes after her. You just dropped down to subcritical. This is damning because the United States building to NMD globally, both in the United States, because we just put 14 new ones in Alaska. That obviously should trigger the Russia freakout argument. This is conceded by you. Means that all of your freakout arguments are inevitable. Also, there's no way that the United States and Russia are going to go to war. Like, Russia died in 1993. Like, they don't have an economy to go to war. They don't have the motivation to go to war. And also, on the resources debate, no way that Russia's going to go. No way that Canada. There's no way that Canada is going to go to war. If anything, but also the oil means that the cooperation is inevitable. Over it means there's no reason to actually go to nuclear weapons. Economic ties check. Also, all causes on the nukes, on the loose nukes. Russia has them, Syria has them, North Korea will sell them. You literally drop all of this. Means all of your loose nuke stuff is inevitable. Also, probably likely that in the process of transportation, more likely that it occurs. Also, there's a difference between like a film crew getting in Belgium and like allowing a terrorist to come in and blow it up. Probably zero risk of loose nukes.
Okay. Thank you. It's an overview of this ad and then the case in order. Ready? With massive impact mitigation on both of the advantages means that the disad outweighs the insurance. The entire case go to the disadvantage now. They may go for these arguments that Obama's anti-Yucca and everybody's anti-Yucca, but this doesn't matter because they're conceding arguments to talk about the GOP backlash. They obviously already also haven't made an argument as to why Obama's capital is high in the status quo, which means it doesn't matter how Obama is situated on Yucca. It matters how the debate is situated on Yucca. The debate is currently situated that they're not going to pass Yucca in the status quo, but that there's major push from the GOP. They're also conceding arguments that even if it is at the top of the docket, this specific instance of decreasing in tactical nuclear weapons doesn't have anything to do with immigration, doesn't have anything to do with the budget. What they specifically react on is nuclear waste management. They see the two issues as tied together. That's the start analysis that we're making on the link argument that was completely conceded. That answers back all of their arguments about top of the docket, no bipartisan support in the status quo, because it means that even if there is bipartisan support about a lot of different issues, there is bipartisan support about the issue of waste storage in the status quo, and there is a specific reaction between waste storage and nuclear weapon decommissioning. The other important argument to this as to why there's bipartisan support in the status quo is one they're making all over the place, which is that Obama has been decommissioning things in the past. We have an assumption that he's going to decommission things in the future, which means that both GOP and the Democrats know that they have to be able to do something about this in the future. Go down to link level. They're conceding specificity of the links. They may say that there's no reason to go to Yucca because there's other places that they could go. They don't actually give any analysis about where those other places were. Our argument is that Yucca is where the GOP wants all these nuclear weapons to go in the status quo. That is the analysis we're making about Murkowski and also about Smuckus, whatever that guy's name is. Look, there are two worlds. If Yucca is that bad and that unpopular, but it's still included in the bill, that means the bill itself doesn't pass, which means that where are we going to put all the nuclear waste storage? That is an internal turn to your affirmative alone, because it says we don't have the capacity to store the nuclear material that we need.
Point of order. Yeah. The argument that Yucca being, that if we're right about how bad Yucca is, means the whole bill wouldn't pass and there would be no storage is just...
Yeah. What I'm trying to distinguish is the difference between the bill being popular and the sort of negotiations that happen before the bill comes to the floor, where the GOP might do something like tack on Yucca. You've conceded that the GOP will tack on Yucca. It's just a question now of whether the bill gets passed or not. Right. Like I was saying, if the attack on Yucca is that bad for the Democrats? There will be no pass the entire plan. This is a turn to affirmative alone because that means there's no waste storage, which leads to things like meltdowns, but also leads to terrorists taking our waste, leads to dirty bombs that would turn the entirety affirmative. Or Yucca has the capacity to pass because the GOP has the capacity to push it. Everybody knows that waste storage is important, which means that Yucca goes into business, and we have super volcanoes that are nuclear. Go to the impacts. I don't know why they concede the nuclear volcano scenario. I know you might not be buying it from the LLC. Granted, I'm not particularly buying it either, but Mitch's extrapolation of it is pretty good. He says that earthquakes have the capacity to lead to nuclear volcanoes, but also that the radiation from even a small nuclear reaction from an earthquake would have the capacity to spread over the entirety of the West Coast. That kills millions of people and also kills all of us in the Bay around here. Probably reasons to prefer it. It's also flat out conceded no alternative causes to nuclear volcanoes, no alternative causes to an earthquake that would lead to a nuclear spill. They also conceded there are going to be 210 accidents when we're trying to transport these things, and the terrorist capabilities of doing something like causing a crash while we're transporting nuclear materials or stealing some of the nuclear materials would turn the entirety of the affirmative because that would let terrorists engage in dirty bombs, and that would cause U.S. retaliation, which is their impact. Go to advantage 1. They concede that NMD is an alternative cause, but they also concede that Russia has no capacity to disarm because their conventional army sucks and they have no money, means that they see nuclear weapons as their only strategic option. They also concede that Canada has the resources and status quo, means that there is a very low likelihood of the Arctic actually being a big deal. I have a joke about the NMD being in Alaska and that interacting with the Arctic, but I won't make it.
Oh, come on.
Go to loose nukes. They misunderstand this argument. It is not that there are oversight in the countries of Russia and North Korea. It is that there is no oversight on their own nuclear arsenals. There's no oversight on nuclear arsenals that exist, not just the United States TNWs. No oversight in Russia. All the people are drunk there anyways. Means there is a high likelihood that if anyone wanted to get a nuclear weapon, they would have the capacity to do so in the status quo. This is a warranted analysis coming out of the LSE. It's not responded to in the MG. Means that there's a high likelihood that loose nuclear weapons are inevitable. It doesn't matter whether the United States TNWs are there or not.
It's going to be advantage 2, advantage 1, the politics debate. Overview first. They do not do enough work on the Russian position, particularly the fact that we pass a policy that changes the game and changes Russia's calculus, indicates that we will be able to change their propensity to act now. They're not winning enough on the impact level. That will be a nuclear war that will outweigh their that will outweigh the case impact. Also, will be more probable. They will also concede too much defense on politics. It will not be probable enough. Go to loose nukes now. Your argument is that there are alternate causalities to loose nukes. Obviously, this is a very linear impact, right? It is an argument about the propensity for non-state actors to be able to seize loose nukes and deploy them, which indicates the more loose nukes that are actually available, the greater the capacity of that happening. You're indicating that there are specific groups of people who will be able to get loose nukes from world play. We isolate specifically Syria, the instability on Turkey's border is going to make that a particularly probable case for there to be nukes. You're not isolating any arguments about why there's a propensity for nukes to be seized in Russia, other than that people are drunk. Pretty hilarious, but not very effective. We're winning arguments that Syria will actually lead to this being seized, will lead to the war impact, which indicates that we're getting an impact at least as big as your this ad right here, Russia. Your only argument is this NMD thumper, which you're trying to apply, but that's not at all true. In a world where you're conceding the specific link return or the specific link arguments indicate that Russia's going to be reassured and not encircled by the United States anymore because we are in capitulation. With them indicates that they don't worry about the NMD because they perceive our policy as different, which indicates that all of the calculus has changed for Russia. You also concede that we're no longer seen as offensive towards Russia. You're also conceding analysis that NATO analysts indicate that Russia would disarm, which is enough for us to get our link arguments. Also, you're saying Russia's never going to go to war because they know they're going to get their asses beat in the status quo. Absolutely not our scenario. Not our scenario that they'd start a nuclear war. We say they'd roll into the Arctic, which would involve us, and they roll into Central Asia, which would involve us. There's a miscalc argument. You're not saying that Russia would inevitably perceive the United States as nuking them if they went into Central Asia. You don't even make that argument. There's a high propensity for it to happen. For it to happen. I'm right about the Canada stuff, but who's got time? Overview. we are winning the linear risk of the detonation of bombs, which indicates that we get the access to all of the arguments that they're reading on the dis ad, right? It indicates that we have a high likelihood of Syrian groups actually seizing the bomb, which indicates that the dis ad is probably very likely to happen. But we also have the net benefit. We also have the net benefit of Russia going into these countries. There is a significant risk of each, even if not a 100% risk. They do not do enough here. The NMD thumper does not account for our arguments that we are changing their strategy. They make no analysis on the link level of how Russia perceives us. On ticks. Overview on ticks. The uniqueness story and the link story do not jive on this position. Their uniqueness story is that there is a very reasonable decision by reasonable people being made that determines it is an unacceptable risk to have all this waste here. Your link story is like, ah shit, Republicans get mad, they will make sure that we just put it in Yucca Mountain. It doesn't make a lick of sense. They're not corresponding to their own argument. Let's go here. Your second response to the NG is you should prefer the issue-specific uniqueness, which indicates that there is some propensity for bipartisanship. I think that this indicates that this implicates your own link argument, which indicates that this is a different type of discussion going on, which indicates that the GOP just wouldn't unilaterally backlash, which is what Italy is telling you in the MG, right? Because these people are doing things differently and they actually believe it is important. You're also making arguments that one sec. You're making arguments at the top of the docket don't actually matter, but that's not true in a world where you're just creating arguments about backlash. You may creating arguments about the GOP just getting mad. You read other link arguments about reinstituting the debate, but your arguments that the GOP is going to be pissed and need to win somewhere else indicates that they'll do that as quickly as possible. High propensity for the backlash to happen somewhere else, and for you to get no links planned. The other argument I want is Italy's turn argument, which indicates that there is which indicates that decreased cost, which is always going to be a link to this. You indicate that costs aren't actually what people care about, but it is when you're making arguments about GOP unity. We tell you this is what sees enough of the GOP to be able to get people on board as a cost-cutting measure, which indicates the GOP would be split again, and there wouldn't be enough opposition for the bill. That is a devastating argument because you can see that there's a substantial amount of the GOP who cares about that argument. I also want Italy's impact defense argument, which is that we transported to Yucca Mountain for years and we actually didn't have this cost. They're reading some arguments that this is 100% inevitable. Absolutely not true in a world where we've transported to Yucca Mountain before. Only a risk that furthermore you're getting an equal risk anyways. Your argument is that the GOP is split now. That indicates that there's a percentage of the GDP who really want, even in the face of strategic rearm, want this stuff to get contained, care about it. These specific people that they're naming are then saying that because we continue the rearm that the disarm that we've already done, they will now backlash. That doesn't make a lick of sense. Everybody that you're talking about supporting the bill on the GOP side has already seen us start to disarm, has already taken this into account in their strategy. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Also, the Yucca Mountain arguments are pretty devastating, which indicates that it is so politically unpopular that people would never be able to do it. There would at least be preponderance of people who wouldn't be able to do it. You're also, that's enough, surely.